Hey YA, my name is Antoine and I'm here to answer a deep thought question. The question is, how do I receive signs from God more clear? And the simple answer is, open your eyes. No, that's not the answer. Because it's such a broad question, I'm going to narrow it down into 3 points. The sign that you may be seeking is affirmation about something, confirmation about something, or you're in expectation of something. So the first one I'll deal with is confirmation. Gideon in the Bible was looking for confirmation from God. He was looking for if the word that God gave him was actually him. Gideon was challenged by God to go after the army that was coming against Israel, right? And it was a challenge to Gideon because he felt inadequate. He felt like he was the least of them all. But God challenged him and said, you actually can defeat this whole army by yourself. And Gideon was like, I beg to differ, but I'm going to need a sign, a confirmation that this is your word, that this is what you say. So when you're looking for a sign from God, ask for confirmation. Gideon asked for something really specific, and if you want to look at the story, it's in Judges chapter 6. Gideon asked for something really specific, and God performed that miracle, and Gideon did what he was supposed to do. So ask for something really specific and look for it, and when God shows you, that's your confirmation. The second one is affirmation. You may be looking for the affirmation of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I actually in God's will? So how to know you're in God's will is there's always going to be favor and grace within his will. If you look at Abraham's story, Abraham had to go onto the mountain to sacrifice his son. And this son was a promise to him. And by the time he got to that challenge to sacrifice his son, Isaac was 13. He was basically a preteen, and God told him to kill him, sacrifice him. If you're really about that life, do what I say. And Abraham trusted and believed in God. And the affirmation of that is when he got on the hill and he tied Isaac up, and he was all ready to be burnt offering, right? He was already ready to be a burnt offering. God provided a ram in the bush. That ram in the bush showed affirmation that this promise is where he's supposed to be. It showed affirmation that Abraham was in God's will. So when you're looking for affirmation, look for the provision to God's will. Look for the favor. Are you moving up without trying as hard as others? Are you getting provision without looking for as much as others? So look for that, and that's how you'll know if you're in God's will. Because if you're not in God's will, you have to provide for it, and you have to sustain it, and you have to make it happen. And the last one is expectation. If you're anticipating something or expecting something, God will give you a reminder. You're asking God for something, sometimes God will send a word. In Genesis 18, Abraham and Sarah was visited by God in the form of 3 people. And these 3 people came to remind Abraham that he was going to have a son. And this is in the midst of this turmoil between waiting and then getting the child. He had to wait for this baby, and he didn't know how long it was going to be. He didn't even know if Sarah was pregnant yet. But God sent the word to him saying that you are going to have a son. So if you're in expectation of something, God is going to send you a reminder that I'm going to do what you asked in my timing, though. So when you're looking for signs, you're probably looking for confirmation or affirmation, or you're expecting something and you're trying to get a reminder from God. But really, you always want to follow God by faith. Sometimes you're not always going to have a sign to confirm whether or not you're doing what God told you to do. Sometimes you have to go by faith. And in going by faith, God will reveal afterward what you are doing and how it should be done. So take that into your thoughts today and leave with a better perspective on signs. Thanks. See you later.